Hello, Warren here again with the Peach State Prime Transformers channel. And today we're actually going to be doing a little bit of a retro review because of a certain leak pertaining to this toy and this character that has come out within the last week or so. And not to mention, it's just a really cool toy to begin with. So stick around and we're going to just dive right into this here. Alright, and of course the figure I'm talking about that we're going to be taking a look at today is none other than Machine Wars Starscream, which of course was part of the, pop those feet out there, the Kaybee Toys exclusive Machine Wars line that came out around the same time. You know, we had Beast Wars out. This of course is a repaint of the UK exclusive Skyquake figure that was out around the time. You know, it's kind of what we refer to as the British Generation 2, where you have Thunderclash, which of course was used for Machine Wars, Optimus Prime, as well as some other great molds that were out there. This Starscream is no exception. Now, one thing I do want to point out is when I purchased this is my originally, you know, I bought this from Kaybee way back in the day. And, you know, there's parts here where there should be missiles that would be dropped from these missile bays, I guess you'd call them. And you would think there'd be some sort of gun, but when I purchased it along with all my other Machine Wars, larger Machine Wars toys, not the ones on the cards, but, you know, the mega and ultra size figures, none of mine came with any missiles or guns. So I don't know if that was a running thing or if I just bought a bad batch of toys or whatever, but, you know, so what I'm showing you is my complete, as taken out of the box, Machine Wars Starscream. First thing you'll notice is, you know, he is not painted like your original Starscream figure and character was, you know, in the, you know, kind of the gray, reds, and blues. But this is a very awesome toy. And the paint job matches it. You know, it's kind of a stealth bomber-esque. I'm not really up on my planes, I'm sorry. But I think the black works really well, and we'll talk more about the vehicle here in a little bit. And, you know, the shades of gray, and then, of course, the translucent blue, both for the chest and the eyes here, with that light piping was always very impressive to me. The other thing, and let's bring them down here, is, you know, there's this little back section here where you can block the light piping, which, you know, I always thought was cool. It was like you can make him look like he was offline or coming online. You know, just a really cool little feature there. And, you know, like I said, you know, the only thing I have complaints about, you know, with this awesome robot mode is, one, you do have some very minimal articulation in the arms. And then the back here, this backpack really makes him kind of back heavy to where he does not like to stand up, which is why I've had a hand on him. Right before starting filming, he actually did a backflip right off my desk here. So, fortunately, you know, nothing broke. But, yep, and see right there. So, that's the one negative. You can spread his legs apart, which helps with the stance a little bit, but not entirely. And these teeny tiny little feet that stick out here. But, you know, his legs do spread apart there. By comparison, this is the Walmart Transformers the Movie commemorative reissue, using the, you know, most of the original Starscream tooling. You know, I have tons of Starscream toys, but, you know, this one's in good condition and represents kind of that original, again, tooling and mold, albeit with the longer missiles, more screen-accurate paint job, wider fists to hold, you know, Megatron and stuff like that, that he came with. But, You can see there is a considerable size difference and, of course, paint job difference. Which, you know, again, paint job doesn't really bother me, but he is really, really tall. And again, I know it's a reuse of another mold. But, you know, Starscream finally got the upgrade he was probably waiting for with this figure. And then, just for fun, for size comparison, which I have next to me, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Commander class Skyfire, or Jetfire. He is Skyfire, though. You can see, you know, maybe Skyfire stands an extra head above, you know, Machine Wars Starscream, but Machine Wars Starscream is a big bot. I do want to bring this Starscream back up and just say, you know, I mentioned, you know, he finally got the upgrade he was waiting for. What I always liked, and again, Machine Wars really had no fiction behind it, but I always like to think in my own, you know, headcanon, kind of made-up universe that, you know, this is, again, a reformatted Starscream with finally a new body because, you know, as we saw in later episodes of G1 in Season 3, and, of course, later on in Beast Wars, Starscream has a mutant spark where you could destroy his body, but his ghost/spark will endure. And I like thinking that this is the body he finally got. If you think back to those episodes where he appeared in Season 3 of G1, where he was a ghost, you know, Unicron very briefly gave Starscream a new body. However, what I always thought was interesting, it just looked like his normal body, like this. Whereas, you know, when he's completely reformatted Megatron and, you know, the Insecticons and Skywarp and Thundercracker, you know, you got Galvatron, Scourge, and Cyclonus in, you know, the sweeps and all that. And, you know, they were completely different. So I think this would have made a great redesign, a great reformatted Starscream, whether it was from Unicron or another source. Let's take a look at the vehicle mode. Now, I don't always show transformations just because they can take up a lot of time, and there's tons of other channels out there, but this one fits that category that I really like, and I say often, where it's very intuitive and very simple, and looks great in both modes. So, we're going to do it real quick. So, you just flip this panel down, Starscream's head goes right in, close that up, push the fists up and push the arms back, extend the wings, this backpack section comes up, and again, you extend these wings here. This little, you can see Starscream's head there, this little piece comes down to block that. Kudos to the designers there. And then we come down to this part. We're going to flip up those tiny little feet. Flip this around. Bring the nose section up. And push it together. You hear that little snap. You can bring this landing gear out. And ta-da! That's it. And he looks great. I really, really have always loved this figure. It's probably one of my favorite non-classic Starscream toys, non-G1. And yeah, again, it doesn't have his normal colors, but it fits him oddly enough. And one of the cool features, so, you know, that clear, or that translucent blue, you know, carries on here and then into the cockpit. The other thing, and this is one of my favorite features, so you have this nice, again, kind of stealth body here, but if you pull this lever back, it actually reveals some windows, or again, some more of that clear, translucent blue plastic, which is, it just looks cool. I don't know the in-universe reason, or if there ever was a reason for that toy design other than just to look awesome, but it really does. And give you kind of a 360 here. But it's just a monster of a plane or a jet here. And just something I think just, again, you want to talk about, you know, an upgrade Starscream would be proud of. This is it. And for a toy being this old, still amazingly, you know, it's still transforming just fine. And still just holds up to this day. Alright, so we're back with the Starscream here, now in jet mode. The commemorative Transformers movie reissue from a few years ago. Again, Walmart exclusive. You know, putting these two side by side again. This will always be Starscream's, you know, official look in my mind, including the robot mode. But, again, just for sake of comparison, you can see how, you know, this could go to this in a great big upgrade, kind of like Megatron to Galvatron. And I'm not saying Megatron was, or Galvatron was better than Megatron. I'm just saying in terms of, you know, upgrades, you know, in the universe, you know, where it looks completely different, maybe some extra firepower and all that. I just think that would make total sense for an in-universe story. So you can see the two Screamers there. Now, one thing I do, well, here, let's go ahead and transform Machine Wars Starscream back. And as I do that, I'll explain why this is relevant right now. For those of you that follow leaks, you know, whether it be on social media or YouTube, or if you have message boards that you subscribe to, there has been a leak that we are actually getting a brand new Machine Wars Starscream toy. I believe coming next year as part of the replacement for the Age of the Primes line, which the name escapes me at the moment. It looks like I'm missing a wheel there. I didn't realize that. Still looks good without it. But yes, we are getting a new Machine Wars Starscream. I am curious how big it will be because, frankly, if they made this figure nowadays, I mean, I'm wagering probably leader class. I forget what the exact leak said, but, you know, they probably get away with leader class, so it's going to be a little smaller than this. They could do commander class. However, as cool as this figure is, with it not being, you know, the classic Starscream or somebody that's known a little bit more than this variant, I don't see them investing in a commander class figure, though if you deck this thing out with all sorts of toys and blast effects, I could certainly see that, you know, being a really cool toy. But, you know, I'm very anxious to see what they do with it. As far as, you know, retools or repaints, of course, there is Skyquake they could do. You know, just like, you know, this toy was originally intended for. I would actually like to see them take the classic G1 Starscream colors and do maybe like a select variant, you know, in those colors. I just think that would be kind of interesting. You know, and just, you know, those grays, purples, maybe have like the yellow cockpit here for the chest, you know, kind of a mismatch of the two. But anyways, yeah, I think that would be neat. And if you don't have this guy for your collection and you can find a good deal on him, I'm sure he doesn't come cheap. I would definitely add him. You know, I think he's always been a really neat addition to my collection, both when I first got him and now. Alright, that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, I invite you to give it a like here on YouTube. And of course, leave a comment. You know, have you had the pleasure of having Machine Wars Starscream in your collection? Or what do you think of the figure? You know, is this something you're looking to add? You excited about the upcoming new mold for it? Again, let us know in the comments. And of course, subscribe to the Peach State Prime Transformers channel for more content like this. And of course, you know, discussions. If there's an event like a convention or something, or a Weird Al concert like I just went to, I'll throw that on the channel here as well. But subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those videos. But anyways, once again, I do want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and God bless.